Hey everyone, it's Pete from Abstract Ocean. Today we're going to be installing some caliper covers. We're doing this on our Model Y long range. They're compatible. We have models for Model Y of course and for Model 3. Obviously if you have a performance Model Y or Model 3 you don't need them because your calipers are already painted. But this is just a nice quick easy way of doing it yourself. So first of all, quick sort of what's in the box. You've got some instructions. I'm going to cover it anyway on this video, so if you've got this far you probably don't need them, but if you want to look at pictures, type 4 is the type of caliper that we are caliper cover that we're putting in today. Then in the box I'll kind of give you the basic anatomy. Okay, so this is one of the rear covers. Take that one out for a minute. Leave that there. And then this is one of the front covers. So hopefully you can see that on the camera. So I'll move this out of the way for a second. So for the tester, it's actually really easy to fit. If I kind of get this on the camera here, so you have this hook on the bottom. If I hold it kind of like that, that hooks over the bottom of the caliper. And then on top you just have this adjustable piece. So in the box are all the tools you need just to tighten this up. But all we have to do is just kind of hook it on and we're done. So we're going to move the cameras around just so we can get some close-ups of where it's getting hooked on. And then we'll be set to go. Okay, so here we are with the front caliper cover. And as I mentioned, there's two pieces to this. If I show you on this camera. So this is the bottom and this will clip over the top like that. You may need to loosen this a little bit if you need to. Again, just use the tools that come in the box. But all you have to do is hook that first piece under. So hopefully you can see that on the camera, just there. And then this top piece, let me move this camera around. So the top piece just hooks on like that. So really, oops. Let me get that in place there. So hopefully you can see that too. So it just hooks on like that. And all we're going to do is tighten this up to secure the caliper to the caliper cover to the caliper. So these are the tools you get, just a little 8mm and 10mm wrench, Allen key, and then a spare bolt should you need it as well. So everything you need. But all we're going to do is very simply just tighten up this top nut, which needs the 8mm side of the wrench. Move this over a little bit like that. The nut already has a lock thread on it, so as you tighten it, it's not easy to tighten, but makes it equally difficult to loosen, of course, so no issues there. Alright, there we go. So keep going all the way till that's completely tight. Let me show you that on the camera as well. So that's fully installed. So the basic anatomy of the caliper is you have this sort of rubber grommet at this end. You have the pipe at the bottom. So that's how you know you got it the right way around, but there's really only one way to put it anyway. And then that's it. You'll see it's still hooked in underneath there. And then this is the other clamp over the top. If you like, we can provide heat-resistant vinyl. We can perhaps put the OEM logo on there for you. Just request that as part of the checkout. So that's the front caliper on. I'm going to go ahead and put the wheel back on, just so you can see what it looks like. I guess while I do that, I just want to show you these as well. These are our Lug Guides. And when you're taking wheels off and on, they're pretty invaluable just to help get the wheels lined up. All you do is just screw them on the threads. And it just gives you a way to hook the wheels on without kind of guessing. You certainly don't need these, but I find them really useful. Probably had the wheels off and on this car, I don't know, half a dozen times in the last couple of weeks for testing and so on, so really helpful to get the wheels on without swearing and losing your mind. So you see, you just slide the wheel on like that. Kind of makes it a bit more idiot proof. Put some of the lug nuts back on. Take out the guides now. And you'll see, let me get a close-up of these on the camera. These are actually pretty heavy. I can't do old-fashioned weight, but I'm going to say that's like 5 ounces. That could be horrendously wrong. And they're just threaded on the inside. So these are hewn from a solid piece of stainless steel, so they'll last forever. So safety note, as always, when you're removing your wheels, be sure to, when you put them back on, to torque them properly. That's not pretty tight. Okay, so before I lower the car down, let's take a proper look at the caliper, sort of in situ. So you'll see that is pretty sharp. You certainly don't know it's a cover. The other option you have, of course, is to paint the calipers. Most car shops will do that for you. Typically that costs, it depends where you are, but maybe $400 or $500. And obviously they need your car for the night, just so they can take the calipers off, paint them, let them dry, put them back on, bleed the brakes, that sort of thing. So this is a much easier way and faster way of doing it. As you can see, the time it takes is mostly getting the wheel off and on, more than actually fitting the cover. But yeah, once it's on. On the front wheels, of course, you can turn them, so just make sure there's nothing's catching. They're nice and snug to the wheel, but certainly they don't obviously touch the wheel. So with that said, we're going to go on to the rear just to show you again how it works. Alright, we're back over to the rear wheel now. Just going to take it off. You may have seen during the switch over, I used our little jack adapter pads to jack the car. If you've never jacked up a Tesla, then you won't know that they have a very special jack point to protect the battery pack. So it's important to use an adapter. The ones we use and sell are the same ones used in the US by Walmart and Discount Tire or America's Tire. They are the best on the market. They have a little magnetic retaining puck as well. And in fact, the one I'm using on this car is brand new because 9 times out of 10 I'll change the wheels, forget the jack is under there, and just drive around with it under the car forever. So, but they're really good. We sell them in packs in singles or as a set of 4 in its own little container, depending on how often you need to jack your car up. Okay, this wheel's ready to come off. Good to go. So here we're going to put the rear one on. Grab the camera, pop that there. So same anatomy as the front, so I'm just going to kind of hold it up here. So this rubber piece or rubber outlet is up at the top. These are just aesthetic or for visual effect, right? So obviously it doesn't serve a purpose other than looking like a true caliper. And then the pipe goes down here. And then the fitting on these is exactly the same. On this bottom piece you have the clip, which clips around the bottom of the rear caliper. And then we just have this same adjustable bolt on top, which we just have to tighten up. So again, 5-minute job. The effort is certainly in jacking up the car and taking the wheel off more so than actually fitting the caliper, which is pretty straightforward. Alright, so we're going to snap this or clip this underneath like that. It's very simple. Try not to go too fast, but there's really not much to it. And then this top one, If you can see that on one of the cameras, let's move this one in a little bit. That just snaps over like that. So nice firm positioning. And then we're going to grab our little set of tools again, and we're going to tighten up the clamp. I'll whiz through this bit because this is obviously not very exciting watching me tighten up a nut. But again, it does have lock thread on it, so it does take a minute and it is a little bit tight. All right. Whew. Okay, so this is fully tightened up now. Just kind of show you that on the camera. There we go. So it is important to make sure this is tight, obviously. We are messing around with wheels, so we want to make sure everything is how it should be. But again, once it's on and in position, you can see that really just looks like a performance brake caliper rather than just a cover. And again, 5 minutes to fit it, 15 minutes to take off the wheel and mess around with that, but pretty easy to do. Okay, so we're going to put the wheel back on. That's on there good and tight. This is just kind of a repeat of the thing I did last time. Put a couple of these on. We sell these as individuals or twos. In fact, let me just put one on this time. If you have two, then obviously the Shaw's, yeah, complete line up on all the lugs. But if you just have the one, it does good enough. So just lift it on like that. Give the wheel a shove. And then just find the other lugs, like so. Going to put one on just to lock it in place. Get another one down here. If anyone cares, the nut driver that I'm using, or socket that I'm using, has this non-marring nylon sheath around it, so it's good. It just means you're not dinging up your alloy wheels when you're putting the nuts back in. I'll link to that in the description below if you just want to get that, and I guess also to the torque wrench as well. The one I use is a digital one. I think it costs about 70 or 80 bucks on Amazon in the US. But obviously you can use whichever one you want. It is important though. Don't just kind of put the bolts on thinking they're tight enough. You should really make sure they're torqued to the right setting. And there you go. So last thing to do, we also sell the center cap kit as well, which just tightens up this middle. So obviously we have the center cap, and then we just have these bolt covers that go on. This is not as awkward as it's looking. It is when you're trying to do it one-handed though. There we go. So obviously this is the Gemini wheel, I think, on Model Y, the 19-inch that comes with the aero covers. So just finishing up the lug nuts and the center cap, make it look finished, and then just a final shot of the performance caliper as well. So there you go. Same process on Model 3. Thank you for watching.